Well folks, now we come to a story arc that I've been looking forward to and also dreading talking about simultaneously.
Time to meet the Green Ranger!
Green with Evil, a 5-part miniseries and an epic like no other, especially for kids shows at the time. This story introduces the most popular Power Ranger of all time, Tommy Oliver, played by the late great Jason David Frank. Credited here initially as Jason Frank. Also a shot of Tommy's Zord appears. It's just as awesome now as in 1993. If you look closely at the footage, you can see Tommy in miniature form atop its head. Very subtle. It's apparent that associate producer Tony Oliver cycled through Zyuranger footage to write the American storyline, but he hadn't run through all the Sentai footage yet. 15 episodes needed to be written before filming could begin. Then the rest would be processed, again in 15 episode run-throughs. The Green Ranger appears in Zyuranger episode 17, to Tony Oliver's surprise, and a casting call was quickly put out to fill this character's American vacancy, and that's how Jason David Frank came in. I would imagine as Tony Oliver discovered the Green Ranger, he came up with the character's name. Spell Tony slightly differently and you end up with Tommy. Nostalgically, Tommy means a lot to me, but also indeed Jason David Frank is no longer with us, sadly. Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. Fame of this scale, as much as he loved his fans and vice versa, he was still a human being. It can take a toll on one's mental health, as well as the fact that JDF had been suffering personal issues, and in November 2022, JDF tragically took his own life. He was 49 years old. The news saddened me, as I know it did and still does many others, very deeply. Unfortunately, JDF would not be the first Power Rangers actor to pass away like this, but given his popularity and how fast word travels in the social media age, his death had a huge impact and hurt a lot more therefore. As difficult a subject as this is, I value freedom of speech, transparency, and mutual respect regarding what you can share with other people. YouTube puts limits on certain words you can use to describe these things, lest the video have restrictions put on it. Jason David Frank committed suicide. Yes, I said that word. I don't care if YouTube age limits my video. I'm using my freedom of speech to make the conversation about these difficult issues. Underline difficult, I can't underplay that. Feel more open, honest, and real. I don't believe in censoring words or ideas so as to protect people. If you are struggling, or if you know someone who is, I feel you need the right words to express yourself and the issues be properly addressed therefore.
Fear of a name only increases fear of the thing itself.
Who would have known I would bring all of these issues up in a review about Power Rangers? I'll bring some of my own experiences into this, being completely sincere and again transparent with you folks. I've lost friends or friends of friends this way. Depending on one's age, but especially life experiences, this is very relatable. If the issues raised in this portion of the video affect you, or someone you know, there are region-specific organizations to discuss one's mental health with professionals. I'm not a major voice on this subject, but I do like to give back whatever I can and help if I possibly can. Thank you for listening to me on this tangent. I felt I needed to get all of this off my chest, and I hope this might have helped anyone watching. Acknowledging Jason David Frank's tenure, his passing will be acknowledged in the seasons featuring him in my reviews, but I consider it a celebration of his 29-year legacy, including archival recordings of him in Power Rangers Once and Always, along with a heartfelt commemoration to him and Twee Trang at the end. And so with that, let us continue. Green with Evil, parts 1 to 5, on various home media re-releases, all have subtitles, which I'm ignoring, partly as those subtitles aren't on the actual episode cards, but also, say if you haven't watched these episodes before, it spoils them. Besides, that's how I remember these episodes nostalgically. At the Angel Grove Martial Arts Expo, Jason is set to compete against new challenger Tommy Oliver, practicing his moves with his iconic hi-ying. JDF was such a great mixed martial artist, bringing such skills into the show. It's love at first sight for Kimberly.
He is really cute.
Rita spies Tommy from her telescope, seeing his potential as her new evil Green Ranger. This arc is full of proleptic irony, because we always know what the villains are doing, but the Rangers don't, and that's where the drama and suspense comes in.
The suspense is breaking my circuit boards.
Behind the scenes, Austin St. John saw himself as this alpha male type of the team. Being that young, you're douchier, and so having JDF...
He came and just mixed everything on up.
JDF was was also an alpha by nature. They worked together well enough despite this, but I don't think they ever became friends beyond Power Rangers. ASJ even saying upon JDF's passing that they weren't exactly beer-drinking buddies, but that their differences were long settled and that he would sorely miss JDF. Jason and Tommy's fight results in a draw, which they're both good sports about, even if it's tough when there is no winner. Tommy's suave, mysterious, but charming and respectful too, from the way he fends off Bulk and Skull when they harass Kimberly.
Hey, didn't you hear the lady? She said no.
Kim is like, yeah, a new man of my dreams is at my rescue. Fun fact, I grew my hair out to be like JDF. I love that style. Very iconic in 90s. Check out his earring he often had, and his necklace too. Lots of necklaces worn in this show, come to think of it. Sometimes it would be a blue yin and yang symbol, other times a silver fish, interestingly.
Such a metrosexual.
A fish, eh? Is Tommy a Christian? Like his counterparts, Tommy wore his Ranger colours in different shades of green in more 80s styles than 90s, honestly. Like stripy hoodies, stripy shirt too, military boots sometimes, camouflage, big green 90s jeans and a knitted mesh vest, with a black cotton vest underneath, a flannel tartan shirt. He even looked like a skater boy with his backwards baseball hat. Bro! Even a shirt that's very 60s, again with a camouflage colour scheme. Also double denim, all dyed green. I love that one. JDF's range is apparent. He can play evil with such an iconic evil laugh, which chilled me as a child.
I'm Kimberly.
I'm Tommy.
Hi.
Hi.
Aw, the start of their junior high school romance. Aw. Power Rangers is aimed at young kids, but about teenagers, so bearing in mind their audience, they push it as far as they can. Kim asks Tommy out, progressive, but just to hang out with her and her friends, but Rita intervenes, calling on the power of the 6th power coin. We've seen Zordon possesses these coins, but why does Rita have an evil one? Turns out, Zordon and Alpha, as we'll later learn, did not make the power coins, they found them. So, it's possible that it was a free-for-all. Zordon got most of them, but Rita found one. She casts a spell for Tommy to become her evil Green Ranger, but not before testing him with a squad of putties to see if he's the one. Boy, that Skull used to scare me as a kid. Same with Rita's spell casting. Tommy easily holds them off, even using a dustbin lid, Captain America style. Rita teleports Tommy away.
What's going on?
This line gets used a lot in the show by different people.
What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on?
When we see Rita on the rooftop, she actually looks pretty good. The costume is the same, but it's a different actress with a more petite build. Also, she's backlit, wisely putting her face in shadow, but Barbara Goodson's voiceover makes it work. Her staff is different too, bulkier, simpler and wooden, but it matches the Sentai well enough for the American shots. Good overlay of the Sentai footage into the American footage, with the green eyes glowing to indicate that he's awake and evil. Tommy is sent to wreck the command center and disable Zordon, so he loses contact with our dimension, along with corrupting Alpha's computer banks, via a virus on a CD. How very 90s. Conveniently, he has a CD slot to receive such a virus. 1 point against physical media, though I still hold it to be better than streaming. Sometimes. Also, Alpha recharges himself with a plasma ball. How retro. It's crazy watching Tommy rip the panels out, all the sparks. I wonder if they used magician's fire inside one of the panels. Great attention to detail with all the bound up wires and circuit boards. You can believe it's a functional place. Tommy teleports away, leaving the Rangers high and dry. Lots of Dutch angles in this miniseries, like when Zordon is compromised. Very discombobulating. Zordon in a state of power loss always upset me. Like Tommy, no, bring Zordon back. It was also shocking to me as a child learning that Rita knows the Rangers' identities, so it's like, okay, we're in trouble now. Boy, that's a cheap looking Green Ranger coin, despite the glow. It's the Jew Ranger toy being used. It's jarring seeing the Green Ranger suit in American footage, as it's a different, more minty shade of green, but the main problem is the shoulder padding and armbands. In Jew Ranger he wears a rubber shield and bands, but in MMPR it's shiny and quilted like a duvet. quaint, but they don't match. It's like they cheaped out. Maybe Tommy's costume was damaged in transit or something. His boots and gloves look different too, with the number of the green triangles on them being different. Still, the teleportation effect for Tommy while he's evil is cool. The Rangers arrive. The way the rad bug flies in is charming and goofy. The green screen effect before we cut to the actual car in the space. Alpha is brought back to his senses, and the Rangers discover Zordon is gone, and that the damage has inhibited their teleportation and communication. And if that wasn't enough, Goldar is on the rampage. The Rangers beat the Putty Patrol and fight Goldar, which goes well, until Goldar abruptly vanishes and Tommy invades their Megazord cockpit. Megazord's head sparking as they all fell from it screaming while Tommy landed in victory always shocked me as a child. Another early memory, never seen anything like this before. The Rangers fight in not rural Japan. Kind of looks like South America out here. It's a new ball game now. It's not just about fighting silly monsters anymore. This is another Ranger like them, but evil. Tommy has a blade blaster like the others, though that changes when he receives his own weapons, the Dragon Dagger, and the Sword of Darkness too. Also his own Zord, very Godzilla-like as it rises from the ocean. When I learnt that Power Rangers was originally partly sourced from Japan, it didn't shock me. The martial arts, and specifically Tommy's Dragon Zord, are both very Japanese hallmarks. I think the energy ball that Tommy hurls at them was the inspiration for Tommy putting a CD in Alpha to corrupt his circuits, as it kind of looks like a compact disc.
Prepare ourselves. We don't have Zordon to help us this time. We'll have to do it on our own.
Time to grow up, kids. Accept the situation and overcome it as a team. The spell Rita cast to make Tommy evil is temporary, and the Sword of Darkness will keep it going forever, providing the sword isn't destroyed. Hold that thought. Tommy is teleported back to the alley via great teleport effects, but bad flashing green theater lighting. He looks up at his new empress, Rita. Like Zordon, Rita instructs Tommy to keep his identity secret, which he technically doesn't follow come part 5, but he also acted noticeably like a jerk, especially to Kimberly.
Newsflash, Kimberly. You are not the center of everyone's universe.
The hell she isn't.
Well, excuse me for living.
I'm surprised Kim didn't run off and cry after that. She has every right to. Screw you, evil Tommy. Nice glow on Tommy's coin again. Looks like green flames and his eyes glow too with the same green. Bulk and Skull appear in the alley and comedic hilarity ensues with evil Tommy. It is really weird that they don't question the fact that he has superpowers now.
He should have his eyes checked.
Okay, that was really witty. Tommy later teleports Jason to a redressed version of the command center. The Dark Dimension, not this one.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Look at this place, all the green pillars and the smoke. To hide the bin liners all over the floor, in fact, but it adds atmosphere. It's creepy with the weird monster faces lit from underneath, mounted on green circles with copper bronze pillars like prison bars, which burn Jason when he touches one of them. Ouch, that always bothered me when I was young. This arc depicts this place as scary, though the more we see this place, the less scary it becomes. Saying that, this place is awesome looking. The pillars looks like they're made of wood with green paint and gold leaf. They look wonderful in wide shots, but in close-up you see they're a little haphazardly put together in places. Goldar has Jason trapped to battle him with no Morpher, which he has stolen. Talk about a nightmare scenario. The Green Ranger returns and the remaining Rangers morph and fight, though Tommy wipes the floor with them. It really felt off as a kid watching this fight as Jason isn't there. You want him to be there. They're short-handed as they fight Tommy. Megazord is formed with Zack taking the lead. Yeah, somehow it works without Jason. Still, Tommy blasts the Megazord, but it's deflected back with its shield made from the Mastodon head. Very cool. With his pride hurt, Tommy teleports away, while Goldar ups the ante, drawing his sword, though Jason keeps narrowly evading him. Jason hides in the smoke, and Goldar starts stabbing the floor in rage. Oh man. Rita summons an old friend. Via a lightning storm and a forest of trees and magic mushrooms, Scorpina. Scorpina poses a threat to the Rangers that's equal to Goldar, and she can disguise herself as a boulder. The shots of the scorpions as the rock breathes always weirded me out. When the young boy is watching this show, you're supposed to feel grossed out when she becomes a giant scorpion monster. But then when you see her human form, you're just like, oh, well, hello. And she is very pretty. It's a compliment. Scorpina's monster form has predator dreads, a pincer for a hand, and facial mandibles too.
I liked you better before.
Yeah, she went from hot to not. I love the asymmetry in her human form with metal parts and scorpion headpiece similar to Goldar, and the red and yellow is very sexy. Ow! Cannot help it if it's true, though. Unlike the other villains, the dubbing for Scorpina is great, syncs up well with the Sentai shots, especially in monster form.
Try me! Yeah! Attack!
While the Rangers struggle to find Zordon, Jason leaps up, yells, and mid-air kicks Goldar hard, knocking him back. Go Jason! The Green Ranger arrives, prompting Goldar to leave, and Jason and Tommy fight. Tommy tries to get him with his sword, but Jason is teleported out. Billy and company having fixed the teleportation features and locating Jason. Goldar grills Tommy for failing, though he is granted another chance to prove himself by Rita, who practices a spell to eclipse the sun, to cut off Megazord's solar power source. Said power source was never established, but I can buy it. The Zords all remain dormant in the dark and come to life in the light, so no sunlight weakening them. Well, that's permissible, as James Cameron might say. Tommy is sent to sabotage the command center again when the Rangers are absent, again disabling Alpha. Wait, Alpha's off switch is a fuse on his bum that you pull out? That's really awkward. Alpha is reactivated via his own backup power, however, and Green Ranger is trapped in a force field. Alpha gets the computer to identify the Green Ranger's true identity. Goldar rumbles and crumbles the city, while Bulk and Skull get on a bus to drive away from Goldar, though somehow end up right where he is. Feels like there's some teleportation going on here with the Sentai footage. The bus perfectly matches the one in the Sentai, though. Goldar picks up the bus, Jason yelling for him not to attack innocent civilians. Goldar will release them if the Rangers surrender, but of course they don't, and Rita orders for the bus to be taken to a cliff edge near the beach and pushed off. Wow, dark, but we only hint at that darkness. Can't have real death in Power Rangers. The Megazord catches the bus just in time, however, and it's put back to safety. Thank goodness. Tommy is released from the force field and is grown into giant size. Giant Rangers, well, that isn't something we often see in Power Rangers, so this is an epic moment to relish. The Megazord brawls with the three villains, all while the solar eclipse weakens it to the point of collapse, and they eventually have to bail out. The Rangers fall and demorph as the ground opens up and swallows their Zords in a pit of fire. Wow. Back at the command center, the computer reveals Tommy to be the Green Ranger, to the others' shock and dismay. The teens, especially Kim, feel compelled to save him from Rita's spell, Alpha accurately deducing that that's what's controlling him. Kim finds Tommy and confronts him.
Tommy, I know you're the Green Ranger.
He passively aggressively taunts her, warning that Rita will soon rule the world. After 10,000 years of being dormant, the Dragon Zord is reawoken by Rita, and it destroys everything in its path to the city.
Minty.
Dragon Zord has finger missiles. I love this show. Also all the sounds for when it arms and fires. Perfect. Iconic too. I love the Dragon Zord's roar. Again, it's very Godzilla. The Rangers confront Tommy, who attacks them, controlling Dragon Zord with his dragon dagger. It's a dagger that doubles as a flute, which of course makes it epic. I know Tommy's helmet has a mouth, but how can he play the flute through it? He presses the keys, maybe that's all that needs to be done and it's just for the gesture. It's still awesome, one way or another. Zordon is summoned back, his presence reactivating the Zords. They learn that if Tommy's sword is destroyed, the evil spell will be broken. The T-Rex and the Dragon Zord brawl, then it's Megazord versus Dragon Zord, making for a few Thanos-style wrestling moves. The Red and Green Rangers battle. The shots of the Green Ranger in the title sequence I think were taken from this fight. Jason blasts Tommy, flooring him, and he drops his sword.
It's all over, Tommy.
It is. The Sentai footage abruptly ended, and now we have horrible-looking American shots. Jason destroys Tommy's sword via a bad superimposed blaster effect. But yes, the spell over Tommy is broken.
Break the spell!
They recruit Tommy to their side.
After everything that's happened, Tommy, we need you. It's where you belong.
Despite his remorse and hesitation, he joins the Rangers.
6, working together to fight evil!
Zordon and Alpha celebrate the 6th Ranger joining them, and they morph. Amazing roll call scene. Also an iconic morphing call of
Dragon Sword!
From Tommy. The effect of Tommy morphing is the same as the others, but his morpher is gold while the others are silver, corresponding to their morpher props, as Tommy has a gold morpher.
Finally, the prophecy has been fulfilled. The Sixth Ranger is now one of us.
You see, he can predict the future. Zordon says that the Dragon Zord can combine with the Mastodon, Triceratops, and Saber-toothed Tiger, creating the Mega Dragon Zord. My jaw dropped as a kid seeing this combination, and it's still epic today. The way the Dragon Zord's body comes apart and the arms retract, forming its breastplate, mirroring Tommy's shield, and the Zords combine. Also, its tail becomes a new weapon, the Power Staff.
Alright! Aw, man, it's awesome!
Rita is furious that they lost. This was her shot at victory, though Goldar promises they will have their revenge, and he will personally see to it. Remember this for a future episode. When Tommy is unmasked, I think the shots from the titles come from Zordon telling him the 3 rules he told the others. Speaking of the first episode, they unite hands and jump, yelling,
Power Rangers!
Cue freeze frame, and so it all comes full circle. But not before Billy gifts Tommy a communicator.